back to another Yogic Tarot tutorial. We're exploring the Six of Pentacles, its associated yogic philosophy of Dana, or generosity or charity, and its associated pose, humble warrior. So let's understand the Six of Pentacles. If we look at the traditional imagery of the Six of Pentacles, we see we have a man holding a pair of scales, which indicates a balance or fairness. And he's handing out coins to what appears to be two homeless people or beggars. So what we're understanding the Six of Pentacles to be about is generosity, charity, giving. So if we've explored the Four of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, we've learned the lesson of non-attachment, what attachment can look like, and the diseases and discomforts that those attachments can bring. And if we do master the lesson of non-attachment, we can then step into learning and understanding the lesson of generosity. So with the six, when we're talking about charity, we're talking about charity in different areas of our life. So don't think about, when we're talking about the Six of Pentacles, that I'm like, you need to take your life savings and go and give it to the poor. I'm talking about finding ways that you can be generous and that you can give back that's within your means. Okay, so we're not giving away our life savings, we're not handing away all our worldly possessions today, but we are going to explore where do you have the capabilities for more generosity. So if you've explored the Four of Pentacles, and if not, I encourage you to go back and have a look at that video. We explore the lesson of non-attachment. And as we come up into the reverse triangle and we have that arm that goes up, and we explore what do we actually have to give to the world, what do we have that's within our means to let go of and say like, hey, world, you can have this. And so we start to explore the lessons of being selfless as opposed to being selfish. We're now coming into that lesson and taking it a step further with the six. The yogic philosophy of Dana. Dana translates to generosity, and it's a component of the self that is very encouraged within Eastern philosophies, things like Buddhism and yoga. They're very encouraging of being generous because they understand the concept of karma, the concept of give and take. When we give to others, we receive more. When we have a cup that's full and overflowing, why let that overflow just fall to the ground and go to waste when we can give that overflow to others to better them, to help and assist them, because perhaps their cup isn't flowing over, perhaps their cup is bone dry and they really could use that drink of water. So if your cup is flowing over in certain places, where can you take that overflow and put it to good use? So when we're thinking about being generous, we can take this in a couple of different places. We can look at, because obviously it's Pentacles, we can look at the material aspect of generosity. We can also look at generosity as a, where can we give of ourselves? So for me, I've been a tutor of tarot for, gosh, close to 20 years now. I've been teaching tarot. And over those years, I've charged for lessons, but I also have so much knowledge to give to the world. My knowledge cup is literally overflowing. So why not give some of that knowledge away? Because I can, because I have the means to do that. Hence why you have my Ed app that offers my full tarot course for free, because it literally doesn't cost me anything to give that. Because I've already received over the years compensation for sharing that knowledge, my cup is so full that I can let that overflow go. And perhaps someone who really desperately wants to learn tarot because they have a beautiful innate gift for reading other people, they can perhaps take that course, learn from it, become this amazing expert tarot reader who goes on to make beautiful changes in the world. And so their cup then flows over, and they then start to offer something of benefit to the world. So when your cup is overflowing, allow that overflow to go to those who have the empty cups. so that their cups too can start to overflow, and their overflow can start to fill other people's cups. And so we have this beautiful snowball effect of people being selfless and giving that overflow of whatever it is, so that other people can experience overflow as well. When we look to give to others, there does need to be a sense of balance. And here we'll look at the traditional imagery of the Six of Pentacles. And I bring your attention to that set of scales, because things need to be balanced. So like I say, we're not, emptying a house out, and giving away all our possessions to charity, because, we need to be good people, and that's what we need to do. If those things in your house are serving a purpose, let's not give those things away, because you're now emptying your cup unnecessarily. So whatever it is that you're giving, it needs to come with the intention that I'm giving without attachment. So I'm giving freely without any expectation of getting something in return, because I don't need anything in return, because I have so much already. And also from the perspective of, if it's not within your means to give, that's also okay. We need to question, what capacity do I have to give? What can I give that is realistic, that's not going to disable or hinder myself, that's going to then rock my foundation of stability and ease. So when we're looking at being generous, we need to really be realistic with that generosity. So we're not just handing things out willy-nilly because, if I give this, I'm going to get something back in return. Because we're giving with a sense of attachment. So generosity has to come from a place of non-attachment. That's why I say go back and look at the Four of Pentacles if you haven't, to understand what non-attachment looks like and how we can practice non-attachment. Because when we are giving from a place of generosity, we're giving from a place of complete open-handedness, open-heartedness. We're saying, here, have this because I have so much already. I don't need to have anything come back to me. I can give you this bag of apples and you don't have to give me anything in return, because I've already got 2 other bags of apples over there, and I can give even another one of those away. Because if I hold onto the bag of apples in excess, they're going to go frat, and I'm going to have to throw them away. So why not give the excess away to someone who can actually make use of that? So in understanding generosity, we need to understand the lesson of giving without attachments. Question, if you are giving something to someone else, why are you doing it? For what purpose? What is your intention behind giving to that person? Is it because you genuinely can, and because you're feeling a sense of generosity because you have got so much? Or are you giving because you have an attachment to it? Because I could phone this person up in 10 years' time and say, oh, you remember the time I gave you this, this, and this? Well, here's me calling in that favor. And perhaps that person, when you phone them in 10 years' time, they're not in a position to give you anything. So you giving with a sense of attachment is a huge no-no. Don't work. It makes imbalances in the universe. I have a friend that I stayed with, 5 years ago. And this friend is an amazing artist, and he was currently working on a project, and he called it the gift of giving. And he explained how the project worked is that he would make pieces of art that when you gave it to someone else, they could dismantle that art piece if they so chose and could create something else for themselves. He gave that piece of artwork to a person with a sense of, I'm giving for the sake of giving. I'm not giving for the sake of having an attachment or an expectation for that person to keep that art piece as it is, but rather with the intention that they can take that art piece and create whatever it is that they need for themselves. And I thought that was just such a beautiful explanation for the Six of Pentacles and understanding generosity and what generosity should actually look like. So take a moment and think back to the different stages in your life where you have given something to someone. What were your intentions behind giving that to that person? Was it with the attachment of, if I give this to this person, I have the expectation of, oh, they're going to show so much gratitude and thanks. I'm like, oh, you're so amazing for giving this to me. Or did you have the attachment of, I give this to this person because I can ask them for a favor in a couple of weeks' time, or they've got something that I really want, and I feel that by giving this to them, they should then give that to me. So live by the lesson of give the gift of giving, because giving really is a beautiful thing to do. And think back on the times where you have given without attachment. How good did that feel? And now obviously we're now asking the question, but hey Tam, aren't we forming an attachment to the feeling that we get by being generous? Because we do. We feel good when we give something to someone else and they're like, oh my word, I love this. This is amazing. It's exactly what I wanted. We feel good about ourselves. And that's okay. It's okay to have that feel good feeling, but don't have an attachment to that feeling. The feeling is temporary. The exchange is temporary. And don't give from the perspective of, oh, giving this to this person is going to make me feel good. And, I'm doing it from a non-attached perspective, but you still have an attachment there. You have an expectation of giving this to this person is going to make me feel good. So it's about finding that balance between, yeah, sure, you're going to feel like a good person because that's human nature, but give because you want to give and because you can give, not because you have an attachment to that feeling of, oh, if I give this, I'm going to feel good. It really is a thin line, and it really is about finding that balance. And that's why I always say, bring your attention to that set of scales. And are the scales being weighted and balanced? Are you giving fairly? Are you giving from a sense of attachment? And so our scales start to tip. Attachment to, oh, I'm going to feel good about this. This person can give me something. I hold something over this person. So question your intentions around your generosity. Why are you giving? Why are you being generous right now? Is it because this is a philosophy that you want to practice because it's how essentially we should all be? We should all be that freely giving, or have you got senses of attachment there? So go back and explore the Five of Pentacles and understand the implications that come with having attachments to things, and then practicing the sense of non-attachment that comes from the Four of Pentacles, and bring those two lessons in to understanding and exploring your six. So the practice of Dana is not about, let me give to the world because the world owes me, or let me give to the world because it's going to make me this wonderful person. Everyone's going to be like, oh, you're so amazing. Because now we're operating from a sense of ego. And when we're operating from ego, we're not operating from authenticity, and we're just missing the point. So question your motives. I want to give this person something because I know that it's going to make their day. I know that they're going through a real struggle right now, and you know what, I have extra of this, so let me give it to that person because it's going to bring them something. Not it's going to bring me something. Sure, there's the off-spin effect of like, I'm going to feel like a good person, but that is not my intention for giving in the first place. When we're looking at the pose associated to the Six of Pentacles, Humble Warrior was a no-brainer for me. When I started working on the Six of Pentacles, my brain went straight to Humble Warrior, and I was like, yes, we have a beautiful pose that fits into the Six of Pentacles so beautifully. Because we have a warrior pose, and all the poses within the warrior set are there to build a sense of strength and endurance in different ways depending on the pose that we're practicing. So all the poses that fit into that set, they build strength of character, they build endurance, they build stability, they build strength. And when we're giving from a place of strength and we have got endurance behind that strength, we can continue to move forward. We can continue to endure whatever it is that life is giving us and that we're experiencing in life. And because we're bringing in the humble aspect of that warrior, so we're building strength of character from a sense of humbleness. So as you come down into your humble warrior pose, feel that strength and stability and that sense of endurance that comes from you being stable from your feet. Your feet are stable on the ground and they're holding you upright in that pose. So I have got enough strength in order to come down and almost not bow down, because that's not what we're doing, but rather to bring ourselves down to the same level as everyone else. So instead of being this upright, strong warrior, like I'm in charge and I've got everything going on, I'm showing a sense of humbleness. I'm showing a sense of grace by bowing down into that pose. I'm showing my humble side, and I'm giving from a place of humbleness. I'm giving from a place of genuine, authentic generosity, not in that upright pose of a warrior one or a warrior two, where I don't have that humble aspect. So as you come down into your humble warrior, think about the things where your cup is overflowing, where you do have a lot, where you can actually bow down to another person and say, here, have this. And you're almost laying things at the foot of someone else and saying, here, I have got enough. So I'm bringing myself down from this super strong warrior one into a more humbled perspective and saying, like, here, let me give you this, because I'm able to do that, because I have got enough strength and stability in my foundation in order to do that I can give with a sense of non-attachment. That if my foundation is not stable, and I actually don't have the means to give to that person, if I come down in humble warrior, I'm going to land on my head. So what's going to happen? So as you're coming down into that humble warrior, think about, where can I give where my cup is overflowing and maintain my humbleness? Because when we're giving from a space of authenticity, there's going to be an element of being humble in that. We're not going to give and be like, oh, I'm this amazing person who can give things to everybody, like, check me out. No, you're coming from a place of ego. You're going to land on your head. You're not being a humble warrior. You're just being clingy is what you're doing. So coming into humble warrior, explore how stable is your foundation when you're thinking about the things that you can give to others, and where you can be selfless, where you can be of service. Because being of service to others has such beautiful rewards, not just for the self, but for the world around you. And now we're starting to question, what do I have to give to the world? What value do I bring? And while we're in that pose, we can actually explore things like, what is my purpose? What can my purpose look like? How can I be of service to the world and make the world a better place? That's not going to rock my foundation, because if my foundation is rocky, I'm going to land on my head. Okay. So explore those different components as you're coming into your humble warrior. Assess what your foundation looks like. And if you're thinking about, like, oh, I could give this or I could do that, feel what's going on in the body and feel what's going on around with your foundation. Are you feeling a little bit wobbly on one side? Are you feeling like maybe you're going to tip over? Or do you feel like you're coming into that full version of a humble warrior and you're actually feeling strong and stable and at ease? If you're feeling stable, strong, and at ease, you're in the right direction, and you're giving from a sense of humbleness. You're giving from a sense of non-attachment. But if there's attachments or aversions, or, I'm giving this with ulterior motives, your body's going to respond to that, and so your foundation will probably become a little bit shaky or rocky. Or you might find that you become too, like, or there's almost like a pull back, where you're like trying to pull something towards yourself. And you're probably creating resistance in different parts of the body. So feel for parts of resistance in the body, and where are those resistances coming from? What is sparking that sense of resistance? So explore your six from understanding why you give to people, what you give to people, exploring what value you have to give, explore what your purpose could look like. What purpose do you want to serve? What value do you have to give to the world? And these really are beautiful things to explore in that pose of humble warrior, because you should be exploring it from a sense of humbleness, not from a sense of, what can I give to the world that's going to make me look like a better person? Because now we're operating from ego, not authenticity. So the six is really learning about finding where your authentic self is coming into your generosity, and where you're just simply giving from a place of ego, a sense of attachments. So if necessary, go back and explore the 4 and the 5 of Pentacles to understand non-attachment and attachment, and bring those lessons into your 6 and into your practice of humble warrior. And I encourage you to actually flow through those 3 poses and explore the different facets and feel how you're coming from chair pose and transitioning, coming into your humble warrior and exploring those senses of attachment, what that actually does to you in your pose. I hope that unpacks the 6 of Pentacles quite well for you. As always, please leave your comments and your thoughts, and I'll catch you in another Yogic Tarot tutorial.